The eastern shore of Maryland is not a region that one typically associates with wine, but with dozens of new and quality vineyards popping up across the state, it may not be long before this mindset changes. Wow. Wine production in this region dates back to the early 1700s. And while many early attempts failed, the experimentation and persistence of our first colonists and modern-day farmers alike discovered a way to cultivate tasty grapes that are perfect for winemaking. For this episode, I'll be visiting a third-generation farm that is perfecting the art of this craft, utilizing the unique terroir of the Chesapeake Bay region. I also meet an old friend to assist in the preparation of a pairing menu that will tenderize the taste buds.
It's beautiful.
And all this for a spectacular taste of history. I'm here at Grove Vineyards in Kennedyville, Maryland, with my really good friend, Paul McCormick. So great to have you here. It's been too long a time.
Good to see you again.
And in the meantime, I understand you are a lover of fantastic grapes, you're a beekeeper, you're a fireman, you're an entrepreneur, you're a chef extraordinaire. So when we talk to you about what we're going to do today, tell me your philosophy.
Everything here at the vineyard and the farm is all based on what grows here naturally. We're right between the Delaware Bay and the Chesapeake Bay, land that gets beautiful water, wind. Wind is huge for growing grapes and airflow associated with growing the grapes. They also raise boutique beef here. So all the varietal wines that they produce here, we came up with a menu and a few dishes that actually complement and contrast some of the wines that they make here right at the vineyard.
The first thing I see, they look very familiar to me because I know the man that grows them.
Sure. They are phenomenal. They come right here from the Chester River, grown right here in the Chesapeake. They're absolutely beautiful. They have this wonderful, subtle flavor.
I see shallots, I see fennel, I see tarragon.
I like doing something really, really simple. They're all very subtle flavors. None of them are very strong. And I'm going to top it off with cream and anisette. So it's going to have a little licorice and spinach, a little licorice and green. It's going to be beautiful.
And so this then combines extremely well to the varietal that that you have picked. So
exactly.
Chef, it's all
well,
yours.
I'm going to get going. I'm going to start with these beautiful oysters. I'm going to take my little towel. This is to keep my hand from sliding. I'm going to stick this right in the back, turn it slightly, and you see that the top shell will come off. Go down, cut the abductor muscle, which is the thing that holds this oyster together. And that's right here. Now I have this beautiful oyster. I'm going to cut this abductor muscle down, so release it from the shell.
And make sure not to spill the liquor.
Don't spill the liquor.
You can actually almost smell the...
You can smell the water.
Yeah. Oh.
You said a mouthful.
I can't find a word to describe it.
The same water that flows underground that feeds these grapes feeds these oysters.
And the flavor is so...
What I'm going to do is I'm going to do this prep, but I'm going to do the prep kind of easy because this all reduces lovely in the pan. I have a fella, an old Italian guy, who sharpens my knives.
Nice, so I can see.
He makes a paper hat. He still wears his paper hat to do this. And we end up with these razor sharp knives.
And you know, I'm a big believer in shallots. I mean, I tell you what, there is no substitute in where I come from.
They're beautiful.
The sweetness.
Yeah, they're sweet, they're not overpowering.
And then fennel, obviously, happens to be my mentor, Thomas Jefferson's favorite vegetable when he traveled to the south of France, you know. He got excited, so much so that he started growing up in Monticello, you know, so that's beautiful.
I'll switch to this knife. It's got a bigger heel and a bigger blade, because I want this fine, the same type of julienne that I'm making.
But you want to keep the vegetable still al dente.
Yeah. It's, and the beautiful thing is, when we do cut this, it's a root It's basically just like, it looks a lot like celery. It has the same fibrous type of crunchiness. So if I put this in order, the fennel would be the crunchiest, the shallots not as much, and then the fennel's actually very, very light and wonderful. Now what I'll do is I'm going to take on top of this, I'm just going to julienne some quick spinach, some baby spinach, so that when this goes in, I'm going to put it in this order in one shot right into the pan.
So it's basically, it's just almost like a quick stir fry, if you will.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
I have a cast iron skillet which accepts heat tremendously.
You can tell.
Basic oil.
Yeah.
It's already starting to sizzle. Then I'm going to put everything in. I had this pan preheated on the fire so it gets really, really hot. I don't have to stir this or manipulate this at all. It'll go pretty much by itself.
And the flavors are like...
Look at that, you can smell it. I'm going to deglaze this with anisette, but I don't want that to flame.
You want the flavor?
I want the flavor.
Yeah.
It's caramelized. Look how that caramelized that beautifully. Now I'm going to add the cream. This just helps me bring all the flavors together.
Yep.
It's just primarily for blending. I want this to reduce just a little bit. And after this reduces, and you're seeing a change of the color right over here from the caramelization of the fennel and the shallots. The spinach is completely wilted. Chef,
Which is
if you would,
Yep.
we're just going to pour them in and save the shells because we're going to serve from the shell. I want the liqueur and the oysters.
So it's actually your version of oyster Rockefeller.
Exactly. What's different about that is this has many more subtle flavors. So they only take a few seconds. See, they're done. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful.
Beautiful.
This is basically my salad. I'm going to have that on the inside of each shell. I added no salt. Did you see that?
I noticed that.
Absolutely
and
no
you
salt.
don't want it, no.
Even though these are raised in brackish waters, which are it's half fresh and half salt water, they're still relatively salty. You don't have to add salt.
So Paul, maybe a little piece of fennel right in the middle. Oh.
That works.
The only thing that will make this perfect is a little varietal.
Beautiful.
That you,
Vidal blanc.
It's literally going right behind us.
It's right behind us. They were actually picked last week for next year's vintage.
It's so crisp and so delicate and so beautiful. There we go. Get the oysters here. Let me see. If I had a mic, I would drop it.
Yes, there you go. Everything there was exactly what we put in front. No pepper, no salt, just the natural taste of everything.
Don't get better than that. Huh? What do you think?
Oh my God, that's good.
Huh? Isn't it? Spectacular. I mean, really, seriously.
This is so perfectly matched to the wine.
Oh,
You can taste every single ingredient.
Paul, it's been too long. We got to do that more often.
My pleasure.
Throughout the early colonies, many failed attempts at cultivating the highly desirable European-style wines failed repeatedly.
Native American grapes are often described as having a foxy flavor and aroma, and the early colonists really preferred the aromas and flavors that they found in Vitis vinifera in those European grapes.
One of the most significant events in East Coast winemaking occurred in 1756, when the Secretary of the Province of Maryland, Colonel Benjamin Tasker Jr., planted a 2-acre vineyard using the Alexander grape. First discovered in Philadelphia by the gardener of William Penn's son, this grape was a cross between the European vinifera vine and the native North American Labrusca vine.
The parentage of the native variety would make those vines more resistant to the native pests, like phylloxera, for example, the disease pressure, the molds and mildews. Having the parentage of the Vitis vinifera vines would offer the flavors and aromas that they preferred in those table wines.
This new hybrid proved successful for Tasker in making wines similar to the European varietals, and it quickly gained popularity.
Tasker is credited for bringing awareness to this variety, and then it was propagated and planted broadly in the 19th century.
the Alexander grape would produce the first commercial wines in America.
Since 1945, when the first post-prohibition winery was licensed in Maryland, there have been over 100 wineries licensed in the state. Each of these different regions grows different grapes, and we're really starting to see which grapes will thrive in this part of the world. It's a really exciting time to grow wine in Maryland.
So Paul, you see one of my favorite cuts. It's unbelievable.
This is oxtail. Oxtail and homemade sausage here from the farm. When you raise cattle, you're not going to take the tenderloins and the prime ribs and all the beautiful cuts of meat and save them for yourself. You're sending them to market. But you have this other beautiful cuts of meat that are left that make phenomenal dishes that go very, very well with the wines that we're growing right here.
Absolutely. The only challenge with oxtail is obviously the cooking time. Once your prep is done, I guess you can go take a snooze, or like us, we'll go pick up some grapes.
We go pick some grapes.
Of course.
That's what we do. We have a rutabaga.
I fell in love when I saw the rutabaga, and I know that you have bees, so I know you have beeswax.
And beeswax. When we raise bees, we use bee pollen, we use beeswax, we use honeycomb, and we use the honey. Bees are fantastic. But one of the beautiful things they give us with the wax is this is the way we can preserve our root vegetables.
All winter.
Cover the outside of the rutabaga and it'll stay all the way through till the spring, till your next harvest. We have celeriac, white turnip, cremini mushrooms, Vidalia onions, red onions, blue potatoes, fingerling potatoes, and of course, garlic.
And obviously, Paul, not to forget, I'm waiting for the marrying this oxtail with this unbelievable merlot.
Beautiful 2015 merlot.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. Chopped garlic, loose chop. You know, nothing real fine.
It's all rustic, basically.
It's all rustic. It's all going to hang out.
The thing is, you're also thinking of a 3-hour cooking time, so everything will disintegrate.
It will reduce effectively. And like I said, if you cut them really, really fine, it literally disappears and turns into the sauce.
And that's why I like that you have turnip in there, because the turnip will be disintegrated, but the consistency stays with it. That's why I like it.
Exactly. Without using an artificial thickener, I'm not using any flour
You won't need
on the
it.
outside. I won't need it. I have all these beautiful vegetables that are going to do this wonderful job of holding their shape, the gelatin and the cellulose that's in all these vegetables.
And you know, being from Europe, nave, as we call it, or turnip, is a big part of making soups and sauces because it's a natural thickener.
It's a natural thickener.
Yeah.
Celeriac.
Early years in Philadelphia, I had a really tough time getting celeriac. Now everybody has it.
Now everybody has it.
Yeah. But way back when it wasn't the case. Great flavor to it.
I love the smell of it. It smells like celery.
Yeah.
You know? And I want to keep the mushrooms
In the big
quartered
pieces, yeah, so
in big pieces. These will add liquid to what I'm doing without compromising the thickness.
And I
of
love
what
that because I only use cremini myself.
We're very close to Avondale, Pennsylvania, where all of the mushrooms come from, but they have huge mushroom farms down here. So they work in hand with all the other farmers, because when the mushroom beds are done, they come and they spray it on some of the fields where they're growing soybeans and whatnot, because it's loaded with nutrients.
Are there growing any funny mushrooms?
They could be. They could be.
We would never know, right?
Well, it's strange when you see a mushroom farm with barbed wire around it. So I'm just saying that just looks weird. Now I have these beautiful variety-colored carrots.
Nice.
And I'm actually not going to take the peels off. I'm going to just cut the tips off and cut
Only way to do it.
the tops off, because they were close to the earth. They've been washed.
Yep.
And they're beautiful, and that is going to help me when we go to serve. This adds a beautiful amount of color to
The
tomatoes.
tomato. You use any kind of tomato?
I like Roma. I use
Roma,
Roma,
same here.
plump tomatoes that have a lot of meat to them. And here again, just a rough dice. These are probably going to just disappear. We probably won't even see them in the end product, because these are beautifully ripe.
And the oxtail, you're just going to still
Probably going to separate it here.
Gotcha, so that's easier to.
Yeah, so just so that it hangs out.
Yep.
All right. So I just want to cut it in a few pieces. These pieces aren't going to yield a lot of meat, but they are going to add
flavor.
Tremendously to the flavor.
Plus, the other thing, don't forget, the marrow that's in
The
here
marrow
that
is-
cooks out, it gets that.
The marrow is the beautiful thing that adds
power.
this power. Yeah, it's like the power ingredient. The Dutch oven is on there, and it is amazingly hot. It's going to take about 3 hours to cook. A little bit of oil, butter will burn instantly. Caught the fire. Sausage first,
Well, thank God I got a firefighter next to me.
Exactly right. Take a little bit of my seasoning right on the outside.
Yep.
All this beautiful fat is going to render, and all this beautiful protein is going to make all this wonderful caramelization. I have to let that sear
See, it's
completely,
real good, yep.
because the sear and all of that caramelization that happens is what gives me all my beautiful final flavor. Usually we season at the end. Whenever you see a recipe or you always see salt and pepper on the table, is because of what happens to moisture with salt and with pepper. With pepper, it increases the Scoville units by a factor of about 4. So if you're putting it in wet and you let it cook, it gets 4 times hotter than what you're actually shaking on, what you're used to tasting. Salt disappears. You're left
Yep.
with the sodium, which is not that good for
Yep,
you,
yep.
but you lose that beautiful savory flavor. For the most part, if you let all the natural flavors come out, you're not going to need the
There you go,
salt.
yep.
All right, now I'm going to add my onions, my herbs. I'm leaving the herbs on the stem.
Makes sense. Because I remember the cooking time that you have, it's in
I
everything will
have
good.
3 hours.
Yeah.
This will last a good long time. There are the potatoes. These are the tomatoes, the
Oh, look at that,
rutabagas.
look at that, look at that.
That's just
It
beautiful.
looks like the cover of Bon Appetit already.
That's
huh?
exactly
What do you think?
right. There's going to be fat in here, but I'm going to add some butter, and this is going to help me with my caramelization process. All right, now, I don't have to stir this that much because everything that's caramelized on the bottom is just absolutely beautiful.
Right, look at that.
Look at the color of that. That's where the caramel color comes from. All right, now, I'm going to deglaze with my red wine.
Nothing better than the
Nothing.
smell of red wine reducing.
I have a little beef stock. Gonna add some chicken stock. And what do you say? I'll just add the rest of the wine.
Yeah.
How's that sound? That's beautiful. So we'll stir. These vegetables are going to change their nature and configuration. By the time we're done, this is going to look completely different.
And then you say, what do you think about 2.5 to 3 hours?
2.5
on-
to 3 hours. Because this was split at the butcher and opened up, it'll tenderize a little bit faster.
I got to take one more look before we close it down.
Good idea.
It's too beautiful. Look at it. And the flavor of the wine, I mean,
I
unbelievable.
could stay here. Why don't you go pick grapes?
By myself?
I'll help you.
I take Judy. While winemaking is one of the newest ventures on this third-generation farm, the team at Grow Vineyards is quickly becoming globally recognized for their award-winning plants.
In our 12.5 acres, we have 7 different varieties. Everything that we do in the vineyard represents our ability to be able to grow something that is sustainable for the environment and well cared for.
Growing grapes on the East Coast in general, what you're looking for is well-drained soils. We tend to get a good bit of moisture throughout the growing season. Here at Crow, we have some really nice draining soils.
We're lucky enough to be sandwiched between the ocean and the Chesapeake Bay, and there are 2 rivers within 15, 20 miles on either side. The storms that come across the Chesapeake tend to break up and follow those rivers, so it keeps us a bit drier than we might normally be during the summer months.
A lot of West Coast wines can be more homogenized because the growing conditions are very similar season to season. East Coast wines are very vintage specific, meaning every year you're dealing with a potentially totally different wine. So we might get a lot of rainfall and we have to change up our protocols of what kind of wines we're going to make. And then some years we might get a really dry season and make some bigger, bolder reds.
No year presents the same factors and situations that we had in prior years. It's always our hope that every sip that you take reveals a new flavor and a new complexity that you might not have tasted before.
Maryland wines are unique and reflect the ability of a young industry to make some good quality wines. Today's technology allows us to use some modern equipment, but French oak allows us to be able to create some very fine wines. It's an expression of who we are and what we can do right here in Kennedyville.
Wow. So sweet. It's going to make a fantastic bottle of merlot. But who's waiting for that? I might as well eat them now. Mmm. So Paul, while you were stirring the pot or taking a snooze, that's what I was doing.
Well, I think we both made out here because this just looks beautiful.
Unbelievable, look at it. Oh, the flavors are reduced nicely down, huh?
It's beautiful. It's uniform. Our root vegetables all held up wonderfully.
Just the way you wanted it,
Just
right?
the way I want it. Now I'm going to put inside each bowl
A nice piece of
a
the...
big old lump of the oxtail, a little bit of this beautiful vegetables and the potatoes, and the mushrooms and the sausage. We're going to use the bread, and the bread is what we're going to use to pick up all this beautiful essence, which has all the marrow and all that beautiful protein in with it, just as beautiful as it can be.
If you tell me about the vintner's luncheon or dinner, that's
This is it, right from the farm to the fork.
perfect example.
It perfect. While everybody's out harvesting, this can be cooking. Isn't that amazing? Anything better than that? We now have to try it with the merlot, because there is also the merlot inside this stew.
I mean, it's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? The combination,
It all fits.
the searing of the oxtail and sausage is just takes it over the top.
This is the only thing that I thought would actually improve this wine.
I mean, there's only one thing better than that.
More of it. At this farm, we have a sickle pear tree. These are not the sweetest and not the juiciest or easy to eat, but they're perfect for making a pear crisp.
And perfect to make schnapps.
Perfect to make schnapps. What we end up doing is we're going to sweeten it up with a beautiful oat and crumb topping with local blueberries, which are out of this world.
So Paul, this is your honey that you
This
produced?
is my honey. This is what I produced. This is last year's harvest. Just like we would do with wine, we look at the color, the clarity. The honey is a direct product of what the bees are eating. I have a big tulip poplar in the back of the property, and that's where I get a lot of the pollen from. As they go back to their hive, I can look at their back legs and look at the color of the pollen on their back legs. Lime green, bright orange, yellow,
So you
even
know
white.
where they have been.
And that affects the color and the flavor the same way how we grow grapes at Crow Vineyards, how it affects the flavor of each individual wine.
So the honey is kind of interrelated to all the things we're doing here. Let me try that here.
Try that.
Wow.
It's just like the wine, you're gonna get a second flavor and maybe even a third
Yep.
based on what my bees were eating. I'm gonna start with my butter, my oats, a little bit of cinnamon, tiny bit, raw sugar, a little bit of brown sugar. I'm going to zest some lemon in here. And I don't want to put a lot of lemon in because I don't want it to taste like a
Yeah.
cough drop.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to add my honey. This is just going to be mixed across the top. Now the other thing that I'm going to add to this for a little bit extra touch of flavor, ginger. Now we're going to start with the pears. Okay, so I'll put these face down. I'm going to butter this, and I'm going to dump this into the hot pan. This is the fun part. I'm going to take this literally and over-end it right into the pan. So everything ends up right side up. Then my blueberries. Then my topping.
Nice. There you go.
10 minutes. You can see from the bottom, it's starting to bubble. Butter burns. So if I give this a few minutes, I'm going to get a beautiful caramelized reaction on the bottom, and the oats are actually going, they're not going to be crisp on the top, it's going to be crisp on the bottom.
So if you would do it in a commercial oven at home, was it like 375?
375 for 15 minutes,
Yep.
and you're ready to go.
Oh, nice. Look at that, how quick.
It's beautiful. It came out, but you can still hear it. It's caramelizing.
Absolutely beautiful. The flavor that comes out of there, you know?
It's unbelievable.
Let me try this baby here.
What a way to finish.
The lemon zest,
Lemon
the
zest
honey.
and the ginger and the blueberries, all to take the subtle taste of the pear and try and balance it out.
That is an interesting dish.
Now we have to taste it with the rosé.
It's beautiful. Paul, what a spectacular job right here in the
Absolutely
vineyard.
beautiful.
I mean, it don't get better than that. Give it up. The oysters and the oxtail and this dessert is spectacular, and the wines speak for themselves. And I mean, so
Fantastic.
glad to have you here. I drink to you, and I drink to.
Maryland wine.
And all this for a taste of history for Maryland's Eastern Shore.